the fourth and semi-final day of Ukulele Bootcamp. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over, in those who are watching on video, my apologies that we're not at CRC, though I guess it probably won't be that different for you. Anyhow, today we're going to go over all of the songs that we've learned so far, maybe add one more, and all of these are things that we're going to do tomorrow. So first a note about tomorrow. Judy, are you going to be there? Hillary, are you planning on being there? Oh, great. And Mom? Oh, great. Perfect. Okay. So anytime between 5 and 5:30, get there. I'll be there by 4:45 setting things up, but whenever you want to come, feel free to come by. Hopefully they're saying it will be a lot less hot than today. So we'll make sure to have water and things like that, though. Okay, any lingering thoughts or questions?
What if it rains?
What if it rains? I don't know the answer to that, but I don't think it's supposed to rain.
Oh, they're forecasting rain, but maybe
Oh,
not
are they?
tomorrow night, maybe just tomorrow day.
Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. Alana will decide something and an email will get sent out if it rains. Okay, so any ukulele thoughts hanging over from yesterday or the day before? Or any questions that have been sticking with you or anything like that? Okay, so let's jump into playing then. And we are going to start. Where'd Hashki Venu go? There we go. We're going to start the same way we started the weekly ukulele, which is with Hashki Venu. Bottom. Okay. So, just as a reminder, what we're going to start with whenever we're getting warmed up is that we are going to. Let me turn on original sound so you can hear me a little better. I'm going to keep all of you muted, but unmute yourself if you have a question or anything like that. Okay, so start with your C chord. Get that C chord comfortable. And if you can tilt your computer at all so I can see your ukulele, you're strumming in your fingers, that helps. Perfect. Okay, so start with your C chord. Start feeling and thinking about that move to the G chord. Right? It's going to be the index finger and the middle finger are going to land down there, and you're going to move your ring finger up, so play that G chord. Next, we're going to go to the A minor chord. That's with our middle finger only, moving all the way up to the top there. Then we're going to play our F chord just by putting our index finger down. Okay, back to the C. Now we're going to go to a strum. Try to play it along with me. C, 2, 3, 4. Now go to, we'll do 8 of them. Next is G. Here we go now. G, 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 G. Now we're going to go to A minor, A minor. And next comes F. Here we go now. F, 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 F. Now we go to C again. Let's do one more set of 8. You can go to down, up if you want to add a little complexity. Here we go with G, now G, G. Here comes A minor with that middle finger moving, A minor. And now we go to F. Okay, now we're going to go back to C. We're only going to do 4 this time. 1 and 2 and 3. Now we go to G. Here we go. G and 2 and 3 and 4. Now A minor and 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2 and 3. Let's do it again. Go to C. C and 2 and 3 and 4. And now G and 2 and 3. Here comes A minor. Now A minor and 2 and 3 and 4, and now F. Okay, let's try just 2 now. 1, 2, now G, 1, 2, now A minor, 2, now F, now C. Here we go. C, now goes to G, A minor, and F. Again, C, G, A minor, and F, C, and G, A minor, F, and we will end. Here we go now. Okay, show of thumbs. Up, middle, down. Where are we at on that? How did that feel? Good? How was it when we switched to the only doing 2 on each beat? Was that more of a challenge, or by the time we got there, did that feel okay? Good? Okay. Right, that's our core exercise. That's how we start every ukulele session. Though we do it with a different strum. We do it with the down, down, up, down. So let's go ahead and try that together. And if that's difficult, right, switch to a down, up, down, up. So first, let's practice this strum. Go ahead and play C. Okay, go ahead and play your C chord. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna say down, down, up, down, up, right? While we play it. Here we go. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. Strum everything, not just what you sing. Now play the ones you sing louder. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Now if you can, try skipping the ones that you don't sing, meaning play them so soft that you don't even touch. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. But if you find yourself chasing, right, if your wrist is chasing the rhythm rather than following, go back to down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, how did that feel? Show of thumbs. How does that strum feel? Good? Okay, so that's our second exercise. That's our second main exercise. Ella says sort of. Ella, that's a great one to practice for guitar also. It's also the main strum for like song leading on guitar. Okay, so we are going to put all of this together now. So let's try this. Let's do it again. Let's get our chords going again. So C, 2, 3, 4, here we go. We're just gonna do 4 on each. C, 2, 3, 4. Now G, G, down and up. 3, 4, A minor, and now F. Okay, now go to your C. Down, down, up, down, and now G. Down, down, up, down. Now A minor, down, down, up, down, up. F. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. G. Down, up, now A minor, and now F. One more time through. C. Now G. A minor, and F. And end on C. Mom, try strumming with your index finger rather than just your thumb. It's kind of hard to go up with the thumb, unless you're going down with a finger. Then it changes your wrist because you really want to get that. Hold on, let me change the view so you can see it a little better. You really, when you're strumming, right? Remember to first of all strum right where the neck meets the body. Right about here is where you want to strum. And as much as you can, you want your finger to be pretty perpendicular to the fretboard. So you're coming down like that and up like that. So really, you're kind of holding your wrist so that it's pointing straight down at it, if that makes sense. Again, that needle for the record player kind of metaphor that we've been using. Okay, any questions, any thoughts on that? How did that feel? Goodish? Good. Okay, let's do some more songs. Let's go over everything that we are doing. So here is, excuse me, Au Dieu Veau. Okay. So same chords, actually minus the A minor, should be a little easier than the other chord or the other song, truthfully. Just a little closer. There we go. So we are going to do those chords. Let's go through the order here. We have not played this with a G. Oh, here, I can do this also, everyone. Does that help? Does that make me bigger for some of you? Okay, we have not played this with a G, but we can try it if you want. Or if you'd like to just stick with the C's and the F's, that's fine, right? So, here's how it goes. Let's go just playing the chords, getting the rhythm and all of that down. Here we go. C, 2, 3, 4, C, 3, 4, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, C, and C, and C. So it goes like this, right? Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. Now F. Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. Back to C. Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. Now F. F. Al kulam. Back to C. Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. Now F. Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. Back to C. Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. Now F. F. Al kulam. So that's what the whole song goes. So back to C, and there we are. Now F. Here we go. Au Dieu shalom, aleinu. Now C. Au Dieu veau, shalom. Now if you want to make it a little harder, Ve al kulam. Just one strum on each. F, G, and C is the turnaround there. Ve al kulam. F, G, and C. F, G, and C. F, G, and C. F, G, and C. So go to your F for a second. If it's tough to move from F to G, and pay attention how your index and middle finger on F are going to shift right over to G. That's the move. They're already on the fretboard. They're just going to move positions. Your index finger is going to move up. Your middle finger will move down, and you're good. All right, so practice that little bounce if that's hard. So let's try that end again. F, G, and C. F, G, and C. And Hillary, I don't know if you remember a D7 chord from a guitar, which looks like this instead. This is a D, right? And this is a D7, so it's still got those, but the fingering's different. But I personally find it easier. Ella, totally for you too. And Judy, I know we've talked about this. Mom, stick with the regular one for now. But F to G7, this is G7. And to C is a really easy move. F, G7 to C. Because it's just a slide at the end of C. So F, G7. Because your index finger even stays there moving from F to G7. F, G7 to C. F, G7 to C. So don't do that if that was confusing or hard or difficult. But it is actually a little easier of a fingering to do, I think, than the F, G, C. Okay, let's play this one more time together. Here we go. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. Here we go. Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. Now F. Au Dieu veau, shalom. If you're getting lost on the rhythm, just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Aleinu. F, G, and C. Again from the top. Au Dieu veau, shalom, aleinu. F. back to C. Od Yavo Shalom Aleichem. F, G, C. F, G, and C. Salam. F, 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 C. Salam. Shalom. And you can play an F or a G. Actually, we know that G now, so we can totally go from the C to the G at the end. So we're going to do the last two lines again. Let's go to that C and get into the rhythm together. C, 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 C. We're going to do the last two lines. So strum it. Down, up, 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 down, up. Here we go, last two lines. Salam. Now F. Aleinu ve'akol ha'olam. C. Salam. Shalom. G. Back to C. Salam. Now F. Aleinu ve'akol ha'olam. C. Shalom. Shalom. Back to C. So that's probably a good one to practice, just looking at everyone's fingering with your left hand. This is a good one to practice putting it all together in terms of a little faster of a chord switch, working in, either the down, up, down, up, down, up, or once you get that down, down, up, down, into the rhythm. This is a good exercise. So I would encourage everyone to work on this one.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, I know nothing about this, right? So each line is what, 4 or 1?
Great question. Great question. Yeah. So those lines are counting out the beats here, the slashes, right? So it's Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Now the chord itself, when it says C or F, is the equivalent of a slash. A slash just means, it continues on. So the way we were doing it there is each slash was a down and an up. So it was one beat. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Which is to say that there are 4 sets of C's and then 4 sets of F's and then 4 sets of C's and then F, G, C, C at the end of the second line, right? So that last line, or the second line, excuse me, the second Od Yavo line, right? So just to show you, we're going to have Od Yavo, that's 2, Shalom, that's the third slash, here's the fourth slash, Leinu. Now F and up, G and up, C and up, C and up, right? So C gets 2 beats there, whereas the F and the G only get 1 beat. So that's a great, that's a great place to practice. And what I like about adding in this complexity to this song is, so Hashkivenu seems harder on the one hand, right? In that it has a 4th chord. This only has 3 chords. But what this does that Hashkivenu doesn't is it has, at points, inconsistent amounts of strums, right? You do 4 C's, then 4 F's, then 4 C's, then 1 F, 1 G, 2 C's. Then 4 C's, 4 F's, 4 C's, 4 G's. So it just gets you to sort of stretch the patterns that you go to. So you're not always going from C to F, and you're not always going from C to G, and you're not always playing 4 beats of the same chord before you go to the next chord. So it just mixes a few of those things up here that are really helpful for practicing, I think, and for stretching.
If the lines are closer together, does it mean you go faster?
No, if the lines are closer together, it just means that you stretch the word much longer that you're singing. Yeah, great question, though. Does that make sense, right? So that salam line is actually just salam aleinu ve'alko ha'olam. Right, so each slash still maintains the same value, the same beat value, but just because there's only one word that you're singing for 4 beats as opposed to, 4 words for the next 4 beats. Does that make sense? Okay, any other questions on this? I say we do it one more time.
On the final shalom with the G, should we use the G7?
Totally up to you. It's not it's not a it's not the same kind of lazy move as it is from FGC. I mean, lazy in a good way, sort of. Right, where you're doing it because the fingering is so right. That F to the G7 to the C is just such a nice, really a nice smooth move on a ukulele. Um, so on that final G, what I would say is instead it's about flavor there, Judy. And feel free to try it out. And the beauty of adding a seventh chord is you're not going to clash with everyone else who's there because you're still playing the same three notes that everyone else is playing. You're just adding a fourth note. So, yeah, absolutely. Try that out. You can also play with your suspensions there, right, where you're lifting up your middle finger or you're putting down your pinky. Salam, aleinu ve'al olam, salam, shalom. Oh, I like the seventh chord there, though. That sounds nice. Salam. Yeah. Just a little bit of music theory. My apologies for those of you who zone out when I start talking about music theory. So we're in the key of C here, right? We talked about this yesterday. So C is the one chord, which makes F the four chord. C, D, E, F, right? F is the four chord, and G is the five chord. Make sense? Any confusion there? Does that make sense? Okay. So the five chord in the key of C is always G. Always, right? C, D, E, F, G. So whenever you play the five chord as a seventh chord, meaning you play a G7, it really wants to go back to the one chord. So anytime you're playing, like in this salam, right? It's salam, and then an F, ve'al kol ha'olam, then C, salam, shalom. And if we play that as a G7, that G7 really wants to resolve to a C. Listen to this. Just listen how nicely it sounds. Doesn't it just feel like it wants to move there? Right? This feels uncertain, unsure. It can't quite sustain itself, and it resolves there. So that's just sort of a universal music theory, or at least Western-based music theory, that the fifth chord is a seventh chord. If you're going back to the one chord next, Judy, and we're going back to the C chord after this, right, after the G chord, a seventh chord is going to sound great. So going back to your original question, absolutely, actually, I think a seventh chord is great there. So in that case, you could play a G7 every time you come across it here, a G here rather than a standard G. Okay, any questions there? I know that was maybe a little confusing in music theory, but okay. Do we want to play that one more time, or do we want to go on to another song? Play it one more time? Great. Okay. Here we go. Down, up on that C. Down, up. Oh, Hillary, that's great. I can see your left hand much better now. Down, up, down, up, down. Ella, I can't see you, or I can't see your ukulele for what it's worth if you want to tilt your screen down. I know it's kind of weird to not show your face on Zoom, but there you go. Okay. Here we go now. Odiavo shalom aleinu. Now F. Odiavo shalom aleinu. Back to C. Odiavo shalom. Here comes the F, G, C. F, G, C. C again. Odiavo shalom aleinu. Now F. Odiavo shalom aleinu. Back to C. Odiavo shalom. Here comes the F, G, C. F, G, C. Okay, stay there for a second. Stay on that C. Stay in the rhythm. We're gonna go on to the next two lines. Here we go. Now, salam. Now, F. Aleinu ve'akol ha'olam. Back to C. Salam. Here comes G. Shalom. Or G7 if you want. Salam. C. 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 F. 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 Now we're going back to C. Here we go. C. C, and to G or G7. You can even switch if you want to get fancy. G and then G7. Back to C. Okay, that looked, I can't hear any of you today, obviously, but that looked comfortable. Did that feel comfortable to people? Thumbs up, middle, down. You can always, like, degradations are totally acceptable too. Okay, great. Let's keep going. Okay, Adonai Sifatai. One of the songs we learned yesterday. One of the two songs that's using that new D minor chord, which is an important chord for us. So reminder about that D minor, this was Judy's observation that I thought was really helpful, is play an F and then put down your ring finger. Right, the ring finger goes just below the middle finger. And the string right below on the same fret. Yep, there you go. Okay, sorry, I was getting lost in a song. Okay, so we've got our A minor there. Then we've got the excuse me, not the A minor, the D minor. The D minor. This is the same shape as an A minor on a guitar. We've got our D minor, and then we're gonna move to an A7, which just moves your index finger up a string, and everything else lifts off. And then put those two fingers back on, and move your index finger down a string. And then move back to the A7. Practice that move. D minor, 2, 3, 4. Now A7, A7, 2, 3, 4. Now D minor, 2, 3, 4. Now A7, 7, 2, 3. Back to D minor, 2, 3, 4. Back to A7. Okay, now we're gonna try playing the song. D minor, here we go. Okay. Here we, now each of these, actually, sorry, before we go, each of these is gonna get 4 beats, right? Is how we're gonna do it, each of these measures. So you'll get 4 on D minor, and then 4 on A7, and then 4 on A7, and 4 on D minor, right? So start with that D minor. Here we go. And this is how we'll really start it. Here comes A7, A7. And again A7. A7. And back to D minor, D minor. It's probably helpful to count in your head, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then A7, A7. 2, 3, 4, A7, 2, 3, and 4, D minor. Now down and up. Na 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 na. A7, A7 again. A7 goes back to D minor. Stay on D minor. Now we go to A7. A7 back to D minor. Okay, just a note, is there anyone who's finding this really easy? Okay, Ella, let me give you something to do. So there's another concept. Music theory, this is not even like music theory, this is like being in a, oh, did you lose me? You can't hear me anymore? You hear me? Yeah. This is more like playing in a band lingo more than like music theory, but there's something that you call a turnaround, which is the end of any phrase. And there'll be a way of just doing it a little different that lets your ear know. It's as much for letting your other musicians who are playing with you as for anyone else, but it also sends a signal to everyone else who's listening or singing or whatever it is that you're turning it around, that you're starting it back over again. So what we can do at the end when we turn it around is na 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 Hila, D minor, A7, D minor. Does that make sense? The last D minor, you can go D minor, A7, D minor, D minor. So you're going to play one D minor, one A7, and then two more D minors for that final set. That's only if you're finding it easy as the turnaround. Otherwise, just play exactly what's written here. But you'll hear that, right? So, na 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 no na 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 sifatah tiftach na 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 ufi agid teilatecha. Do you hear how that just you hear it? Your brain hears that we're starting back over when you do that. So don't stress that. No one but Ella needs to play with that if it doesn't feel comfortable. But you'll see that that's how we do Wednesdays too. Is really we try to give a whole range because people are at very different places, which is great. Okay, let's try this from the top, shall we? Here we go now. 3 and 4 and na 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 Adonai. A7 now. Another set of A7s. A7. Now we go back to D minor. 3, 4. Another set. D minor goes to A7. Another set of A7s. A7 back to D minor and turn it around if you want. Down, up, na 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 na, A7. A7 goes back to D minor. D minor goes back to A7. A7 to D minor, turn it around again. Okay, another thing to notice, just kind of band pieces. If you're gonna change your tempo for the next round, you almost always set the new tempo in that turnaround. Did you notice how that's what I did? That's where I changed the tempo, was right at the turnaround. So here we go. Na 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 na, A7. A7 goes back to D minor. A minor goes to A7. A7 back to D minor, turn it around. Na 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 na, A7. A7, A7 back to D minor. D minor, D minor, A7. A7 back to D minor, turn it around. Na 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 na, A7. A7, A7, D minor. D minor, D minor to A7. Now slow it down and back to D minor, turn it around. And end with na 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 Adonai. Na 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 sifa, D minor. D minor again. D minor goes to A7. A7 ends with D minor and turn it around if you want. Okay. Tomorrow during services, I'm going to be facing everyone, and I'm not going to have the mic facing towards me so that I can sing the same kind of ridiculous words that I'm singing here with the chord changes, without everyone else having to hear at least too much of them, because I think that's helpful, yeah? To call those out.
Danny, I don't know how many times to do the D minor and then how many times to do the A7.
Each gets 4. Each gets 4 beats. So you get 4 D minors, you get 4 D minors, then you get 4 A7s, then you get 4 A7s, then you get 4 D minors. So right, we've got 4 different. Nope, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. We've got 4 different chords listed on our chord chart here, and each chord you play for 4 sets. A set being a down and an up, and then start the whole thing back over again.
Okay.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we go to our next song? Okay, another D minor song. But this one is D minors and Cs rather than D minors and A7s. Okay, so for this one, each slash is a beat again. Each slash is just a down strum. Okay, here we go now. So we're gonna do 4 D minors on that top line, right? 4 down strums. Then we're gonna do 1 D minor, 1 C, another C, back to D minor is that second line, right? 1 D minor, C, another C, D minor. So try that line, that second line. D minor and C, C and D minor. And then the third line is D minor, and again, now C and C, and again, and then 4 D minors. 2, 3, 4. Start that line over again. 2 D minors and then 2 Cs. D minor, now 2 Cs, 2 Cs, and 2 D minors. 4 D minors, sorry. Okay, let's start from the top. Let's try to play all 3 lines. Ready? So first get into that beat. D minor, D minor, D minor. From the top. Evening. Oh, I'm doing it half speed, sorry. Evening, the evening, evening, the C, C back to D minor, D minor, again, now go to C, back to D minor, stay on D minor for a while, we're gonna do that final line again, D minor, and again, and go to C, and again, and back to D minor. Okay, now I'm going to show you a slightly different strum that we haven't done so far, if you'd like to. If you want to stick with the strum we've got here, great. It's a double down strum. Each slash gets one of those. It's actually 2 16th notes, right? So, evening, the evening, evening the frayed edges of our lives, Mahariv, Aravim, Amen. Again, Mahariv, Aravim, Amen. Now let's go to down, up, down, up, down, up, down, from the top. Evening, the evening, here we go. Evening, the C, edges of our D minors, D minor, 2, 3, go to C, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, beginning of that line, now go to C and Avim, D minor, and that's the whole song. So those are the beats, and we'll progress through those beats when we play this song, but if you find switching between those beats is hard, don't. Just play the down, or just play the down and up, or just whatever that looks like. But I hope you can all see the level of complexity that we've added into your playing at this point that wasn't there on Monday or Tuesday, right? With multiple beats and multiple changes, and look at all the new chords you've learned this week, and putting it all together. So, I think those, I'm not going to add another chord, I don't think. I was going to add another chord, but I think we'll save this for a Wednesday to add the D minors. I think maybe we'll stop there. Other than taking a moment to see thoughts, questions, comments, where we're at, things to work on, things that would be helpful, etc.
Do we play Husky Venu? We
Oh,
didn't play that.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We did play Hashki Venu, even if you didn't notice. We just didn't sing it. But yeah, absolutely.
That's what our warm up was.
That's what our warm up was exactly. It was Hashki Venu. We just didn't sing it. Any other thoughts or questions or things you want to work on or things that feel confusing or hard or any of those? Nothing? Okay. Let me find Hashki Venu. There we go.
What would be helpful is when you make the printout, if you would put the strum at the top, would you do that?
I'll make those tomorrow. Yep, absolutely. That's a great idea. Okay, let's try Hashki Venu. So, let's do it just like our warm-up. C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now go to G, G, 2. Your index finger on top of your middle, Mom. Switch those around with the G. Index, yeah, there you go, there you go. Okay, let's start again. C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go to G on G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here comes A minor, now A minor. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now F, F. Okay, now we're just gonna do 4 instead of 8. 4 C's. C, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. A minor, 2, 3, 4. And F, 2. Let's do one more set of 4 here. And C, 2, 3, 4. Now G, 2, and A minor, A minor, and finally F. And now we're gonna go to sets of 2. Here we go. We'll warm up like this when we play it tomorrow too. C, C, G, G, A minor, and F. If you want to do downs and ups, you can do down, up, down, G, G, A minor. But if downs only are easier, F. Now C, C, G, G, A minor, and F. One more time before we sing. C, G, A minor, and F. Hashki Venu. Hashki Venu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. If you get lost, hang out on that C until we come back together. A minor and F. C, G, A minor, and F. Allow us to lie. Allow us to lie. A minor and F in P, C, G, Amen, F. Things gonna be alright. A minor, everything's gonna F alright. C, everything's gonna G alright. A minor, everything's gonna F alright. C. Okay. Well, you all are official graduates of Ukulele Bootcamp. I feel like we should maybe give out